Perfect. So what I want to kick off with, guys, is I want to go straight into talking about your environment. Um, and you may have heard people talking about your environment. I put up a post on the Abundant Living page about self-sabotage. Kerwin Ray did a short clip on that. And I'm actually going to play that on this call for you guys to watch. And basically, it just talks about self-sabotage, your relationship to money, and just how your environment impacts and affects your relationship to money, to everything, basically. And
to yourself.
And to yourself, especially. So,
yeah,
I'm going to run through that. The other two things we're going to go over on the call too, like I was saying, the two key fundamental things to growing your Isagenix business and expanding it and creating massive momentum and growth. Those two things are your why, your reasons why you're doing this, and the actions you need to take. So we're going to be going over those two main things and breaking them down as well. So for now, I'm just going to go share my screen. And let's watch a little clip on self-sabotage.
They're pretty massive subjects, guys, like the why particularly. And I wanted to give you some homework for a video to watch that really helped me establish my why and just really have it ingrained. But we can do another call like solely on the why. It's just we really wanted to touch on it so that you guys can implement it for the following week.
Yeah.
Cheers, so enjoy the clip.
Yeah, enjoy. I'll just rewind it.
Used, often very self-sabotage, interesting concept. Often overused, often very misunderstood. We talk about the term self-sabotage, and it seems quite descriptive. Someone who sabotages self. Self-sabotage is a conflict of values. What do you think are the two values that are often in conflict the most that typically affect everything? Relationships, which include family, which include health, because it's a relationship with self, and money. They are the two greatest conflicting values. Now, if you have a very high value on your relationships and those around you have a very high disregard for money, whether they call it evil or greedy or, in Australia we call it the tall poppy syndrome. If you put those people, if you hold that relationship in a high regard and they resent money and they start seeing behaviours around the desire for, the pursuit for, starting a business, what will that herd do? How will that herd behave? They will attack, they will reject, and they will condemn. What will you do in many cases unconsciously, even if you don't like what they're saying to you? You'll modify your behavior to fit back in. And why do you think most people will allow themselves to be pulled back? It's comfortable. You know it. It's predictable. It's safe. One of the number one human drivers is certainty. I need safety. Self-sabotage, and it's really helpful to understand this, is a primal behavior that is rooted in 8 billion years of evolution in your reptilian brain, which is governed by social order and social hierarchy. Self-sabotage is an unconscious mechanism that your psychology uses to prevent rejection from your herd. The quickest, fastest way to start to eliminate and remove self-sabotage from your environment is you can do most of the work by doing one thing. Hang around the right people. Hang around the right people. When you surround yourself with the right herd see when you're not doing the things that you should be, and instead of them detracting you from the good things, they actually detract you from the bad things. Does this make sense? Your herd will make you or break you. So in order for you to go from where you are now to the next level, what do you think is required? You need to seriously start examining the relationships in your life right now. Please understand, I'm not asking you to never speak to your family or never speak to your friends again. I'm just suggesting examine how much time you spend with them. Because I guarantee you, with 100% accuracy, that the level of self-sabotage you're experiencing right now is a direct reflection of the amount of time that you're spending with people that see your progress as unacceptable. This might be a big pill to swallow for some of you right now, but it's really important to understand from a responsibility perspective that everything you have in your life right now is exactly what you asked for. It's exactly what you deserve. If you want more, place a different order.
So I just want to ask one person actually, what did you personally, just really briefly, what did you personally take away from that clip? One thing.
Anybody?
Don't be too shy.
Mum,
Linda looks like she
mute.
wants to share, but you're mute. You're on mute.
Do you want to share something, Mum?
I can unmute you. There you go. Go for it.
Oh, I'm already unmuted. Oh, I didn't realise. Sorry.
That's all right. I just unmuted you.
Oh, I just said to Phil, it's always me that speaks first. I didn't really want to do that again. I wanted to give somebody else an opportunity.
Got to be someone.
Yeah, well, the main thing I got from it is basically, the people that you're with it on a daily basis. Like for me personally, it's my environment at work that sabotages like my Isagenix business. And every time I come back into having days off and want to get back into the Isagenix business, I seem to go through this same process again of questioning myself, saying, am I doing the right thing? So I did listen to it last night when you posted it, Isa, and I think it's a really powerful clip, very short, but really, can really resonate to it. So yeah, that's what I got from it.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Linda. It's so true. And it's something I wanted to touch on because, I can relate from when I used to work in the bank, and I on that clip, when I wrote the post on the Abundant Living page, I mentioned about how we dealt with hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars a day at the bank, but still our relationship to ourselves and money, a lot of us at the bank, including myself, when I was working there, was so poor. Like just we didn't actually have a very, like, self-esteem was low in general, so our confidence in ourselves was not that great. And then just because we were dealing with so much money didn't mean that we had a great relationship to it. In fact, a lot of people were always struggling with, 1 or 2 mortgages they were paying off, and they've been working there 30, 40 years, still struggling, So it is, I know what you mean. I was working there 9 to 5, 5 days a week, so that was where I was spending most of my time. But it doesn't mean that you need to quit your job, because I did this part-time for the first 9 months or so before I actually resigned from my job, went traveling, did a whole lot of stuff. And it's more the fact that just start actually spending more time with those people that are going to help you grow, that are going to lift you up, and just be in communication and contact and in those people's presence. If it's us, be in more communication with us, if that's going to help. But there's going to be people around you, especially in this Isagenix community, they're going to lift you up, unlike the people that you have in your workplace or even in your friend circle or in your family. And it is a hard pill to swallow, like Kerwin says. But when you can get your head around that, the more time you just spend with those people that are going to lift you up, the more you're going to be able to actually have success in this business and more success in your life.
I think one thing I wanted to quickly say was, if you don't spend time with people that have what you want, how do you expect to grow into someone that has those things? Which sounds like a bit like a riddle, but when you think about, for us, like when I talk about, what mentors you have, who you're listening to each day, like for us, it's, when we have mentoring from Josh and Sarah have already done things that we want to do in our business. And they had a really confronting conversation with Isaac and I about money and our relationship to finances and my non-involvement in the finances, and how that directly impacted our business massively. Now, do you think that Josh and Sarah would have had that conversation if they weren't the type of people that were, constantly growing themselves and up-leveling in the area of money and themselves? They wouldn't have done, because they wouldn't have even been able to recognize it. And that's what I mean. You want people around you that can pull you up on stuff and have those conversations when it's tough, because those are the people that are going to help you grow. And what you'll see, like I could use Mum's brother as an example, is that if you don't have those mentors, you don't have those people around you that are, pulling you like that clip to be the best version of yourself, you'll just slip back to those old habits and ways, because you don't know how to move past them. You actually don't know as a human being. You just, yeah.
No, it's an awesome segue, Rach, to the next part I want to talk about, because Rach and I have...
Hey, Carla.
Hey, Carla.
She just popped in there.
Rach and I have several mentors that we look at, and am I still sharing screen? I don't think I am I? I'll share screen again. There's just a little post I wanted to show you that just came up today on the Isagenix Business Australia New Zealand page. So I don't think any of you are on this, but if you do want to be on it, let us know and we'll add you to it, no problem.
Yeah. I try to post like really great content from there on the Abundant Living page. So you'll notice that I did post this post. We do follow a lot of the millionaires, but other people we follow is like Tony Robbins. I also pay for monthly coaching from Peter Kelly, which is like $100 a month or something. But and I'm not saying you need to do that now, but just as you grow and as your income grows, you know, obviously you want your mentors and stuff to grow with it.
Oh, but even social media, especially in this business, is a part of your environment, the people you're spending time with. The posts that you watch on Facebook and the people's, you know, what they're writing is you're spending time with them effectively, even if it's not face to face. So I like to look at people like Heidi McKellen, Coach Mac, which we call her, and she does a lot of the training at the Isagenix events in Australia and New Zealand. And I like Jackson Parr, another Isagenix millionaire, Peter Kelly, or like Rach said, Jen Schultz, who's one of the top income earners in Australia. In fact, she's doing the next ISA Warrior Challenge call, so you should definitely watch that next call. But Heidi, Coach Mac just put up this post. I'm not going to read it. You can basically see that she's talked about what it really took. And this is going to go perfectly into us talking about your why. Because for Heidi to put up with, you know, feeling like she's wanted to quit, it's not been easy. She's left some relationships, cried numerous times, felt not good enough, felt rejection, ridiculed, bullied in social media, spoken about and laughed at. That is what you're in for when you are in this industry and you're growing a multiple 6-figure, 7-figure income business. Heidi McKellen she now has a 7-figure income Isagenix business now, and it's taken something, obviously, like she said. But the thing she says right at the end that, you know, we want to lead into is, never though has she, you know, has any of the above been stronger than the force to succeed and create freedom in her life and for her family.
Yeah, and I felt like quite emotional seeing that picture, because I know Heidi like personally, and I know her story, and I know that she was working like 70-hour weeks as a nurse full time, and then having to work a second job in a care home just to pay her mortgage. And her daughter was 18 months, the daughter in that picture was 18 months old when she started Isagenix. And within 18 months of her starting Isagenix, she brought herself and her husband home from their full-time jobs. So they were both retired within 18 months. Now, she worked her arse off, but they've just, her daughter from 3 years old has never known anything but both her parents at home for her entire life. That's all she'll ever know. Like, it's a dream for a 3-year-old. Most 3-year-olds would never have access to that. She was putting her children in daycare when they were so sick that she was worried about them. They were daycare was sending her pictures of her children ill at daycare, but she couldn't afford not to go to work. So that was the situation they were in when she found Isagenix, and now they're just spending a month in Bali together as a family. So, you know, night and day, but her why was big enough to make it work. Yeah,
thanks, Rach. And I bring this story up because you won't always relate to us. Obviously, we seem to attract people older than us.
Yeah.
And as I knew who was going to be on this call, I knew there were going to be couples that are older. Lou, who's got younger kids. Dave and Kyla have got older kids. Obviously, Linda, Phil, you guys too. And why I shared Heidi's story is because imagine what this is now going to make possible. You know, obviously, Linda, Phil, for Rach, you know, we're going to be able to have this future of this for our kids. And, you know, what this is going to make possible for your future of what you can create for yourselves as well, and the freedom you can have to travel, because I know that's one big thing you want to do, and come over to New Zealand and meet my family and the rest of it. And same with Dave and Kyle. I know you guys want to come to New Zealand too. And this is what's possible through this opportunity. So, you know, don't just take it from us. There are so many stories. When you come, the people who are coming to Super Saturday and ISA Uni, this is where you're really going to get the vision of truly what's possible. Like, if you think you're excited now, just wait till you meet the people at these events coming up.
You won't sleep.
And hear the stories.
You just won't sleep.
Yeah.
You'll just be like, because you'll just have so much energy, you won't need to sleep anymore.
So yeah, that was a short story on that. But Rach, I'll let you just do these couple of questions on the why and take people into that.
Yeah. So I could do a whole call on the why. For someone who is quite an emotional person, emotion drives me in this business, and you'll find what drives you over time. I definitely didn't know that in the beginning. But Isaac is more, what's the word?
So there's people that are driven by the carrot. I find there's two groups of people driven by the carrot, and then people driven by the pain in their life, or the stick, as some people call it.
Yeah, and what do you say that you are? You say that
the stick and you're the carrot.
Oh no, you say something about I'm emotional and you're like logical. Yeah, it has like a logical brain.
And you usually find that in partners as well, in couples and Isagenix. Phil's laughing because he's the logical and Linda's the emotional. Yeah, but the emotion drives the why, and that doesn't mean that
that doesn't mean that the logical people won't ever find like a why, because, you know, logical things can drive you emotionally. It just means that you need to find, you know, through discovery and through the video that I'm going to give you guys to watch by Peter Kelly, you'll be able to start to discover your why. But initially, the biggest thing for me is, or what I found has worked, is figuring out like your pain point. And what is it right now in your life that causes you pain? And I can see Mum's taking notes. You can start to write this down. And I don't mean like, you know, like you have a sore arm, but I mean like physically, when you think about it, it causes you pain. So for me, sometimes I'm tired. I'm a human being, and sometimes I will lie on the bed and I would just be like, I just can't muster up the energy to take action. Maybe we've been traveling a lot. I just can't muster up the energy to take action in the business right now. But then when I think about our future and the opposite end of that, if I don't take action, what will happen? You know, whether for our children, you know, I would have to go back to work and I wouldn't be able to see them for 30 or 40 hours a week, or we would have to be struggling to put food on the table. It could be any number of things, right? It could be
for yourselves, like just to be able to relate to what you may be going through, people on the call. It might be that you don't want to be retiring and still paying off your mortgage. You know, that might be a big pain point. Like, no one would really want that, right? So if that's one for you, write it down. Because the question is that I want you to start answering for yourself is, you know, what are the pain points in your life? What causes you pain? Like when you're going through your day, what causes you to cringe? What are you just most, you know, upset about, frustrated about in your life? What are those things that are causing the pain? And, you know, for me personally, I find like, you know, when I was at the bank in particular, if you're still in a job and working and doing this part time, it's that, you know, I wanted to spend more time doing what I love doing. I love playing my music. I love, you know, traveling, and, you know, now I'm able to do that stuff. So those were big pain points back then. I had a lot of pain points when I was working at the bank. So just think
maybe it's even like your Isagenix. You know, you want to be able to buy whatever you want. Like you want to be able to have 2 shakes a day, and, you know, at the moment, really financially, all you can afford is 1 shake a day. Like it can be as simple as that. It doesn't need to be these big extravagant things. And when we talk about people like Heidi McCallum, we don't mean that everyone has to become an Isagenix millionaire. That's not at all what we're saying here. But what we're saying is that if you can find like a driver, it'll just have you share Isagenix in the moments when, you know, you're tired and you just want to lie on the bed.
Yeah. And you might think of it as a positive thing, like, you know, if I had an extra £200, like it would be great because I'd be able to start, you know, paying off my mortgage or my rent, and I'd have extra money to go on holiday. But right now the pain point, the other flip side of the coin, is you don't have the money to go on holiday and you're not able to pay your rent or mortgage off as fast as you want, and you're falling behind on bills and stuff like that. If that's a pain point right now, write that down. And just keep asking yourself, what else? Like if you can write at least 3 to 5 points, awesome, on this call. But after this call, keep asking yourself, what else? What else is painful in my life? What else is causing me pain? Am I not able to spend the time with my kids I'd like to spend? And we'll go traveling with them. You know, what else?
For me, one of the biggest things was when we did a call like this with Josh and Sarah, was what they asked us, what thing would you love to do right now that you can't do? And for me, it was take my gran to the Cinque Terre, because not the Cinque Terre, the Amalfi Coast, because when she's 85, and when I asked her if there was any way you could go in the world, where would you go? And she said, she's got a northern accent, and she said, the Amalfi Coast, like that. And at 85, I don't know how much longer she'll be around, you know, like honest, you just don't, do you? You know, she's very fit and healthy now, but how many more summers in the UK am I going to get to take her to the Amalfi Coast? I physically right now do not have the money to take my gran to the Amalfi Coast. For me, that's a pain point. I want to be able to do that while I still can. So that's what I want you to think about, guys, because that's the type of thing that's going to drive you. Okay.
Yeah, I would usually ask, you know, what are people's pain points? I might do that at the end. I just want to get
only if people want to share them. Like it's quite a private thing. So
yeah, if you've got 1 or 2 small ones you want to share and you feel comfortable with, go for it. The next question is, what is the pain that you're anticipating that stops you from doing what you need to do in your business. So, for example, like you might have the, excuse of work. For instance, I'll just use you as an example, Phil. Phil could use the excuse, and I don't know if it is an excuse or not for you, Phil, but he works shifts, 12-hour shifts and long days and nights as well. And, he rests at ridiculous hours, but still manages actually to work out frequently every week and smash out his ice body challenge. But, like work could be an excuse for you. You're like, you just feel like you don't have enough time because work's in the way. Kids could be an excuse, especially I know Lou's got like 3 businesses or something like that. And
3 kids.
And 3 kids. So, that could easily be.
As many children as she has businesses.
Those are big pain points right there. Lou's like, yeah. But yeah, just the things that you anticipate might actually stop you from, doing your business or continuing and consistently building your business. Don't know if you have anything.
Well, it could be anything. Like I was saying, just being tired. Like I've been traveling. Last night I sat downstairs and watched TV with my mum and dad for a bit. So I worked till 3 a.m. But that was because I knew that I hadn't done the work that I needed to do. So then, therefore, I had to work till 3 a.m. So there's like a cost. Part of me just wanted to go to sleep. But I think what you have to start to look at is the pain. I'm probably not going to explain this properly, of not taking action bigger than the pain of, not being able to spend time with my gran or whatever. So is that how you would explain it?
Well, we're going to bridge the gap after this.
Okay.
Yeah. It's basically what we're just trying to say. The pain that you're experiencing in your life is able to be overcome through the potential of what Isagenix actually provides, the financial opportunity. And it's now bridging the gap of that pain into this as a why, as a reason for why you need to do this business, to grow yourself, to grow your skills, your knowledge, your everything in Isagenix. Basically taking this and being the motivation, the fire that burns inside you to create momentum in your business and keep you fired and going on all cylinders all the time.
Yeah.
That's what this is for.
And also, we're not saying that you should burn yourself out and not take respite, because it's important to look after our well-being. We're a health and well-being company. So, but again, that's something Isaac's going to talk about, is managing your time, which is what it comes back to. Like yesterday, if I'd managed my time better, I wouldn't have needed to stay up till 3 a.m. So absolutely a choice on my part. But we only ever take action when the pain of the thing that is causing the pain in the first place is greater than, the pain of just going to sleep. Yeah, I hope that made sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Did anybody want to share anything that they
1 or 2 of their pain points
would love to do right now that they can't do? Or mum with her shares. I'd love to hear anything.
Always mum, isn't it? Always mum's the first one. Right, I got a list anyway, which I'm sure I can tell you about after the call. But at the top of my list was not being able to retire. My official retirement age is 67, and financially, I'm 58 now. Our state of play now, I still can't afford to retire at 67. I've probably got to work until I die. That's being totally open with everybody on this call.
Yeah,
and that's tough.
Reality, right?
60 years old, when it used to be retirement age was 60 for women in the UK. They've risen it until now. Well, we can't. And my financial situation now, at the age that I am, I will not be able to retire at my official retirement age of 67.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest why.
Yeah, that's massive.
Apart from coming to New Zealand. That's obviously a why as well, but my biggest why is that finances.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why we focus on the pain, because that is like your biggest pain, isn't it?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Awesome. For both of us, we both work. Phil does 12-hour shifts. He knows, and we're both in the same boat. So that's why, we want to do Isagenix to help us get out of this financial situation.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Linda. Did anyone else want to share just 1 or 2 of their pain points? Maybe
Lucinda looks like she's in a disco.
She's
just at home, just waving it up. What's she doing? Oh my God.
That's just my lounge.
This is Tia's room. This is Tia's light, and she's still up. My pain is getting the kids to bed. No, no, it's not working too much. It's my pain.
Yeah.
Cutting down the businesses.
Yeah, and having.
I'm shutting the shop officially in 2 months' time, so I've got more time to concentrate on the business.
So you're already on your way.
More time for discos. Woohoo!
How does she
cool
sleep
room.
with that
Love
going
it.
on? No wonder she's still awake. This is like LED.
That's why
lights.
she's always pumped every time we come over. She's so cute.
Thanks for sharing, Lou.
Yeah, thanks, Lou. Cool. Well, we'll finish on that. Obviously, we just wanted you to start.
Unless anybody else wants to share. I don't want to
If
like
you
jump over
desperately
it.
want to share. It looks like Carla wants to. Is that her reaching out?
Do you want to
I'll
unmute?
unmute- I'll
She's
unmute.
unmuted.
There you go.
You're unmuted. There you are. We did it.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
I just reached over. Hi, sorry, I was here. I was just sitting in the corner eating my tea.
No, that's all good.
Yeah, I'm with Linda on that. You know, I've got to work to 67, and I don't want to work to 67. So we just need to be self-sufficient. I think Dave and I getting together later in life meant that we had a slow start in the first place. You know, and therefore, yeah, we've still got a mortgage until I'm 67. So I don't want to be working forever. I want to go and enjoy it. I don't want to be ready, leaving work and then dying.
Yeah.
Or ending up being ill. That's it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Like
I'm
I do.
I'm like, oh my god, sorry, Isaac. I'm like, your whys drive me more than my why. Like, the thought of like those things that you've talked about, like the thought of you just like working until you're 67.
That's what I just did. I just put myself in your
I'm
shoes,
like,
and
what the actual? I'm like trying not to swear. I'm like, that is just not okay with me.
No.
Like that's just not okay. Like what life is that? Like what? You know? And there's so many people. Everyone is in the same situation. This is the crazy thing. You speak to everyone; they're all in the same situation. Even people that have got decent pensions are in the same situation. It's crazy.
Yeah, it just seems so unfair that Dave works six days a week and we don't get any time to spare, you know, to sort of share together. We're just having to try and catch up. On his 7th day, we're just trying to catch up with stuff that needs doing in the house and that sort of thing. So, yeah, you know, that's why we're on board. As much as it's good for our health, it's also needs to be better for our wealth.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so true. There's a I can't remember who the person was that shared this in an event, but like if you ask someone, and honestly you can ask a whole audience, hundreds of thousands of people this in a room, and I guarantee I know which one they'll put their hand up for, the majority will for anyway, is if you gave people 2 choices. So you had one door, and that door was like you could have ultimate health, you could have the most incredible health in the world. And then you had the second door, and that was like all the wealth you could have in the world, abundance of wealth, your finances were taken care of for the rest of your life. You had unlimited, uncapped residual income, for instance, you know, all there ready to go, you know. And you said to people, a group of 100 people, like, would you choose door A of ultimate health, or would you choose to go through door B of ultimate wealth? And, you know, who would choose door B on this call? Yeah, exactly, everyone. So yeah, like it's obvious that, you know, wealth is it's the biggest solution that we have, you know, although not everyone takes advantage of it, and most people do just take advantage of the health opportunity. The wealth side of this actually provides everything, because the beautiful thing about IceGenx is you've got door A and B in one door and you can go through it, which is the great part. But you know, that's what we want to show people. Like when you're able to share this with people and say, look, would you rather have this or this? Yeah, well, that's what I'm offering people, door B. You can have A as well, and we're going to give it to you together in one package. So yeah, anyway, I thought I'd bring that up just because you said that, Carla. So yeah, thanks for sharing.
Thank you, everyone.
And I'm just going to, like I was saying to Rach before, bridge the gap around what we're talking about, because we're going to go into delve way deeper into your why and just get into the real emotion behind it, and go into in a future call, possibly even the next call. But for now, I just want to take what you've written, and imagine there's a bridge, and what you've written is your why. It's the fire in your belly that's going to keep you going in the hardest, toughest times, like Heidi McKellen was saying. When people are putting you down, they're bringing you down there, you know, you're just feeling crap, you're feeling not good enough, you're you're just going through a terrible time, and in those moments, this is what's going to keep you fired up, remembering this is why you're doing it, whatever your reason is or reasons are. So that's one part. And then the other part is the success or the goal that you're going for, whether it's the big goal, the short-term goal, the long-term goal, whatever it is that you're aiming to achieve, you've got that over here. And the bridge that connects the two is the only gap between you having the success and achieving the goals you want and your why back here. So we're now going to talk about the bridge, because the bridge really is the actions that you need to take to have your why become your reality and the success that you want to achieve. So if you look at it like that, and you always remember that you're just bridging the gap, creating a bridge to have the success that you want, and the actions that you need to take, the income producing actions in your Isagenix business, day in and day out consistently, are the things that are going to create that freedom, create that abundance you want in your life. Then you can't go wrong. If you remember that, and that's the only thing, say, you just got from this call, that bridge, then you will have success in this business. I guarantee you, if you just take that consistent focus, consistent action, you have clarity, and you create your goals and you go for it, and you have that why, and you always remember that why. There's literally, if you could get anything from this business, that's as simple as it gets. It doesn't get any tougher than that. So we're going to go through the actual actions, though, that you need to take, and go through a few of those points. So obviously the first part is the action that you need to take to do what you need to do to create the success is simply the work. Like, you just need to do the work, firstly. A lot of people, I find, talk the talk, don't walk the walk, So when we say you got to do this, 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 and this to achieve this goal, whatever your next goal is, consultant, manager, director, executive, for instance, and you're doing one or two of those things, or doing them every so often, and doing it every second or third day, or doing it every other week, basically, you're not gonna hit that goal. You need to do the work. You need to do the work day in and day out and consistently. You're gonna hear this over and over and over again on this journey. At the Super Saturday, I guarantee you'll hear it from Michael Klaus and Lynn Hagedorn. At ICUni, you'll hear it again. You probably get sick of hearing it after a while and us saying it, but it's the reason why we keep saying it is because this is really what it takes, is just do the work and you'll get the results. And
just like, it doesn't need to be massive actions. It could be, speaking to 3 people every day, or 2 people, or 1 person. But yeah. Isaac's probably just going to, but it's just about the consistency, right? Like, it's just, it's not about speaking to 1 person and then not speaking to anyone for 5 days and then speaking to someone else. It's just about consistency and those small actions every single day.
And that's it. And literally, that's what I was going on to. So those simple, consistent, focused actions, and they you can group them into 2 little groups. It's basically the income producing actions you need to take is prospecting is the first one, and following up. It's literally, if you did those 2 things every single day, you would create a successful multiple six-figure Isagenix business. I'm going to
elaborate on prospecting.
Yeah. So the prospecting is basically you're connecting with new people. It's you're talking to people out and about. It's sharing your Isagenix story. It's those bits. So it's basically sharing your Isagenix story, if you were to sum it all up.
Collecting friends.
Yeah.
Like, we heard Sarah recently talk on a call about, you don't need to go out and try and talk to people about Isagenix. You just need to go collect friends, like make friends with people. And then, during your friendship, it's going to come up. Like, how can you be friends with someone and not tell them about this when you've had such an incredible transformation? So, yeah, just collect friends. Yeah,
that's it. And honestly, your friends are going to be interested in what you're up to, and vice versa. So the more friends you make, basically, the more opportunities you've got to share Isagenix naturally. So prospecting and following up are the 2 main action points that you want to note down, that you want to focus on day to day. Everything else is secondary to those 2 things. They're primary. The other thing is, I wanted to focus on the clarity point, because it's all good taking simple, focused, consistent action. But the other part is having clarity on what that action is and also what your goals are. So you might want to write these 2 questions down. We're not going to go into detail, but the things you want to be asking yourself every week, these are 2 questions for each to ask ourselves, is what are our business goals this week, or for this month or this year? What's our next rank we want to hit? What's the next cycle bonus we want to hit? What's the next event or top achievers promotion we want to make it to? Maui, Hawaii is the next one coming up, and we're going to go through those as well.
So let's just use mum and dad as an example. They they hit mum hit consultant, and then recently she's hit manager. So the next goal for her is she can't get to director unless she's enrolled more people. So the next goal for mum is, you know, go enroll 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, but essentially is to bring more people into her business. The people that she's got in her business, she's done all she can with them. Dad, he's consultant, but one of his people is going to drop off. So, you know, for him, it's going and finding another person so he can stay at consultant. But for mum, it's how can she support dad in that, obviously, because he's in her team, but also how can she go bring another 2 or 3 people into her business, because they're going to, you know, inject new life. So it's always about bringing people in, like new people. You definitely have to help those people. And as you go on this journey, you'll learn to reach down into your downline. And, you know, I reach down to Lucinda's people, like it's mum, and then it's Lucinda, and then it's Lucinda's people. And, you know, I reach down and I speak to those guys. But initially the blood, like what do they call it? The lifeline of our business is bringing new people in. We always need to consistently be doing that.
Yeah, because I'm going to go into a bit about numbers, because when you start breaking down the numbers, every number is based off how many people you enroll, how frequently you enroll them. So you can literally, like, I'll give our example. So every 1 in 3 to 1 in 4 people that we enroll become a consultant. But the only way we know that number is we have to enroll a certain number of people before we can find out what that number is. So when it comes back down to, you drill it back down to the foundational action that you need to take, is it's finding people to talk to and talking to people you find. It's those 2 skills that we've gone over on the last couple of calls. So you take those skills and you just repeat those day in, day out, enroll more people, you know, talk to more people, enroll those people, talk to more people, enroll those people. And all of a sudden, after 3 or 4 or so people, have many people, they find a couple of people and they become consultants. And then by the time you know it, you're a manager like Linda, and then you're director, and then you're executive, the top rank in Isogenics. So
just the same thing. Mum's just got to go do the same thing another, 3 times that she's already done to hit executives. It's just the same thing. And then what happens when you're a millionaire? You go find people to talk to, you share Isogenics, you get them great results, you help them get to consultant. You know, it's just the same thing. They're not doing anything that we're not doing. The other thing I was going to say is it doesn't matter where you find people. You could build this business and never post on social media. I don't want any of you to be sat on this call thinking that you need to build a business through social media, because Isaac and I do. You don't. Like, simple, you don't. But if you want to use and leverage social media, it can make your life easier. That's why we use social media, because it means that, you know, for us, we don't have to work as hard, because we plug people in and they see it and they get exposed to it.
And it's easy to get confused with social media, like thinking that all we do is go on social media and post all the time.
Yeah.
We actually go out and we network like crazy people. We went to London over 2 weeks, and we went to a whole bunch of networking events right up to the last minute before we, you know, caught our transport back to Cornwall.
The other thing is that we look for networking events everywhere. So we're looking for networking events while we're in the Southwest. We were looking for networking events in Torquay. When we were up there, we found a networking event in Falmouth. I lived in London for 2 years. So you've got to bear in mind that I know a lot of people. I know as many people in London as I do in Cornwall because I lived there. So it doesn't matter where you meet people, where you go. I often get the details of waitresses. I seem to end up speaking to so many waitresses when we're out and about, but you know, just starting up conversations for them. There are people everywhere, and it doesn't matter where you find people, whether it's via social media or whether it's, you know, just out and about. It's just you need to speak to people. Yeah.
And when we find those people, they then go onto Facebook. But the only way they get onto Facebook is we find them first when we're out and about at restaurants, on the train. That's where we met you, Kyla, and then you were on Facebook. And you know, they end up on Facebook.
The train.
Yeah, because it's easier to follow them up. The follow-up process happens through Facebook then after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I met a woman when I was in, so I'm talking to her at the moment. I met a woman when I was on the way, where was I? Oh, I went to Penzance. So when people say to me, like, there's no people in Cornwall, there's loads of people in Cornwall. There's loads of people in Cornwall. Because I was in Penzance and I went to a gym there. Because when I go to places, I just use their gyms, like their free trials, because then I get to meet people wherever I am. and her name was Jay. She was the only other female in the gym, so I just started chatting to her. And then she said she was there for the pirate event that was happening. So I invited her out. She came out for a drink with us. I added her on Facebook, and we've been chatting ever since. Haven't managed to get on the phone yet or talk to her, but she just said, I'd be interested to know about the health stuff that you do. So, you know, there's people everywhere. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And honestly, everyone could do with either one of our solutions, whether it's health or wealth-based. You know, people do in different ways. You listen to different podcasts, and some people focus on the wealth side and they start with that and they kick straight off with that. I find most people start with the health side, and that's easier. And I recommend that, just personally from my experience. If you feel confident talking about the wealth side and going, I think there's an opportunity that you could earn an extra income, or, you know, even replace your full-time income, because I know you don't like your job, go for it. Say, you know, but to be honest, everyone is interested in health at some point or another in their lifetime. So yeah, it's up to you how you share it, but like use our training in the podcast and stuff to learn how people are actually sharing it as well. Linda, did you have a question?
Even the Isagenix delivery man today.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
That's right. Yeah.
She added him on Facebook.
Yeah, you had him on Facebook. Yeah.
Well, he was curious to know what Isagenix was. I asked him, did he know what it was? Is what I asked the question.
Yeah.
And he said, I've been delivering lots of boxes, but he didn't know what it was. So he's obviously seen the name on the side of the box. So that was it then. I got his name.
Yeah.
Nice.
Love that. Go, Linda.
Love that.
And then you told me that Dave is a courier. So Dave, you're just going to have to get in there.
Yeah, he knows. He lists the names.
Oh, he's already onto it, Mum.
He's
got Devon covered.
I've already got 50 names and up to the people I deliver other products to.
See? Good on you, Dave.
Oh,
Love
dear.
it.
Love it, Dave.
Okay, we'll keep pumping through everything. So there's a clip on, and you write this down because I'm going to get you guys to watch this. There's a clip that Rach recorded of me, actually in St. Austell, about how to enroll 8 people in 1 month. And it basically breaks down the numbers of how many people you need to talk to enroll a certain number of people. And it's the figures are 8 people in 1 month that I did on that clip. So watch that clip. If you just search up enroll 8 people on Abundant Living, search that on the page, it'll pop up in the
we'll put this as like the homework in the
it's gonna be
the group message anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
And the contests and promotions, I'm just going to quickly share screen. Make sure if you haven't yet, you go through the contests and promotions on your back office under Influencers Summit, and the Top Achievers are the 2 at the moment. ISA Rally is I think coming up to an end, so we'll just focus on the 2 current existing ones that you can still take advantage of. Influencers Summit, go through this flyer. You just need to click on view.
That was real quick.
There.
I don't know if they would have got that.
I know, I'm going back to
okay.
it. So view details, and then this pops up. And just check the qualification period, the event dates, how to qualify. Make sure you understand that. If you've got any questions and you want to, ask us, go for it. Like, we're here to help. And it just explains the monetary stuff, or the qualifications, and how you actually promote. And then there's a little FAQ at the end. So take time to go through that one, because that one is amazing what you actually achieve in that. In particular, join Global Top Influencers through 2 days of in-depth leadership development training by renowned speaker Eric Worre, who I just gave you as the homework for last week.
They fly you to America and you get to spend time with Eric Worre. But just to clarify, guys, like these, in case you miss what Isaac said, these are trips that Isagenix put on for free for us to win as part of goals in our business. So you could use like director or manager or executive as a goal, but you can equally use one of these trips as a goal.
Yeah, and I just
to
find,
link that, because I think
what I was saying, I'm just trying to rush through stuff because it's more to go through. One thing I use the promotions as these trips is I use them as a structure, because they go for quite a long period, right? They go till it's never happening in November to December, the actual trip itself, but it goes through over a few months, the actual qualification period. I use them as a base, like foundation for, okay, so what do we need to do to win this trip? Okay, we need to get back to executive, and we need to maintain that for at least 4 weeks. That's quite a common sort of qualification. And I use that period as the period we need to do that within. And therefore, that's our goal. We want to hit that goal in that time. And then we also have the incentive of winning a trip. So that's basically how you can use the promotions. And if you want to talk through your goals and what it will take to actually win one of these trips, if that's what's going to incentivize you, and I tell you, these trips are amazing.
We can do one-on-one calls with you to go through that. Yeah.
Maui is the other one, the Top Achievers trip, which is really exciting. And, if you're on this call and you're, some people, I'm only a consultant or I'm only just an associate, I've just started. That doesn't matter. Sometimes, actually, depending on the qualifications, it's easier if you're a consultant or associate. And you can definitely win these. They're all based on fairness and off, who the people are that are growing their business, the fastest, and the people who are really creating sustainability and retention in their business. So have a look through the Global Top Achievers Hawaii trip, because that's one Rachel and I are going for as well. It's on our vision board. So we're excited about that. Those are the two main ones. So I'll let you guys go through that in your own time. So the next bit is exposures. So it's all well and good taking actions and, talking to people, finding people to talk to, talking to people you find. But if you don't know the exposures of Isagenix and the different ways to expose people to this opportunity, then, you're just basically going to be talking people's ears off all the time. And some people just get annoyed by that and don't want to talk to you again. So
I did that in the beginning all the time, by the way. Used to literally just talk people to death, or I'd send them so many tools with absolutely no context.
Yeah.
Just send them videos, just on the off chance that they might be interested. It was so bad.
So you might know what I'm talking about by exposures when I start going through them, but I sort of have a gradient of events, like an order in which Rachel and I generally usually do these exposures in. We usually meet people, obviously, and we add them to Facebook. And then often we'll get in conversation with them. We'll just get to know them a bit better over Facebook, and we'll usually arrange a catch up with them. If we're in their area or their location, we'll generally catch up with people. And sometimes we'll say, look, yeah, we'd love to talk about what we do. Sometimes they ask more about what we do and they want to know more and they're really interested. Often we don't even tell them anything about it all. And we just catch up and make friends, like Rach said. So we have one-on-one meetups. That's one exposure. Another exposure, once you've had the one-on-one meetup, I find the best exposure next is the three-way call. And like we've talked about three-way calls, so you guys know what that is. Either over the phone, Facebook Messenger, or Zoom. The next exposure, taster parties. And the question I want to ask you guys now is, do you yourself have weekly taster parties booked in? And also, if you've got a team of one or two or more people, are you helping them book in their taster parties as well? Because if you can create duplication around three-way calls and taster parties, that's your business, like gone for it. You'll be right in the Top Achievers in Maui and Hawaii, and we'll be there together sipping, cocktails and all sorts. So duplicate three-way calls and taster parties, and you've got this sorted. One-on-one meetups are great, particularly for people you don't know and you're just getting to know them. For your warm market, I feel like you can generally just get them straight onto a call or taster parties. That's how we use the exposures and found the most effective. Are you guys following me? Am I going too fast? Just like checking. Yeah, thumbs up.
It's okay.
Awesome. Cool. Okay, and the next bit is, do you have the corporate events booked into your calendar? And are you inviting people to the corporate events? So that's Super Saturday this weekend coming up, IC Uni at the end of October, and then there's Uni in Action later on as well. So are you getting yourselves to those events? Are you booking your tickets? And are you also inviting your team and people to those events as well to find out more about this opportunity?
Because you never know what it's going to do to have someone in your team, or someone that maybe is even interested in the business that isn't in your team yet, at one of those events. So for Kyla and Dave, this weekend they've got their son coming, Lewis. Now, who knows what Lewis will get? I have no idea. I don't think they know, really. I don't even think that Lewis knows, but nobody knows until they sit in that audience and hear that person speak, because it's not possible for someone else to get it for somebody else, if that makes sense. Like Daniela is a woman that's been commenting in the group chat. She's not in Isagenix yet. She's waiting for dairy-free shakes because she's allergic to dairy, but she's coming to the event as a guest on Saturday. I don't know what she's going to walk away with. Who knows? Like, maybe she'll be like, this is what I've been looking for. Maybe she won't, but until you get someone in that seat, you don't know. And you don't want to go to it and then wish that you'd had people there. So just get people to the events, I think, is the biggest thing. getting yourself there and then getting your people there is so powerful. When you see people's lights turn on at events, it's amazing.
Yeah, and like this is a gradient of events. You don't have to stick to that. Like say if there's an event coming up, for instance this weekend, Super Saturday, and you knew someone in London or someone who wanted to come up from Cornwall or Devon, you know, don't hold back from inviting them just because you haven't met them yet or got them on three-way call.
Or even if you're not going to be there, just put them in touch with us, we'll take them. You know, like there's always a way to work it out.
That's it, yeah. But that's just the natural gradient I find that we generally go through, and then often events will be coming up and we'll just invite people, like when we're in the Netherlands and Amsterdam, we're going to be inviting people who we don't even know to this event that's going to be happening in Amsterdam on October 7th, so the roadshow. So we'll do that too. So it's not stuck in that particular gradient, but follow those and invite people to events and taster parties and three-way calls and duplicate that. Those are the main actions that you need to take, income producing activities. Cool. And honestly, I wrote this one down just last minute because it's not really a like official exposure, but are you and your team doing the IsaBody challenge? Because I honestly believe if you're doing the IsaBody challenge and you're being loud and proud about it out in life, on social media, you're talking about it, and you know you're really getting into it and you're getting the results and your team's getting the results, your team will grow and that's an income producing activity basically. So I consider it an exposure. And if you're about to finish one, which I know Linda, Lou, Phil, you guys are finishing up your IsaBody challenge, maybe give it a week's break and have a bit of food like that you haven't had over the last 16 weeks or something, but then go straight into your next one. Go straight into the next one. And it's based off the motto of IsaBody challenge, which is start, complete, repeat.
I love the IsaBody challenge. I literally have 9 weeks left of my current IsaBody challenge and I'm already thinking about the next one. And
you've done it like 3 times to
the next
fourth,
one.
I think?
This is my 4th. Yeah. I've started some and not completed them, but my God, like so disempowering to not complete one, to just let it go and know that I put it out there and told everybody I was doing it and then never complete it. You just kind of like pretend and hope that no one brings it up, and it's really uncomfortable because you know and you don't know if they know, but you're both like, but it's like you're trying not to say anything. It's a bit like the elephant in the room. So yeah, I've like officially sent in 3 lots of photographs. And this will be my 4th, and I'm already thinking about my 5th. But we were out training today. I've upped my food. I'm looking to cut out carbs in the final week and really shred back and like get some good photos when I get back to New Zealand. But like I just love the kind of like the challenge, and then obviously being like Isaac said, loud and proud about it. It just makes you feel good. So
yeah,
IsaBody challenge is great. And I don't know if you're going to mention it, but if you're not already on the official IsaBody challenge page, which I don't think Kyla and Dave, we've plugged you into that. There's an official page on Facebook for the IsaBody challenge. Get on that as well, guys, because it's like really good and everybody's on there and they're motivated and it keeps you motivated.
I think it's called, you need to be in an IsaBody challenge to be in it, but I think most of you are.
Yeah.
So Isagenix IsaBody Challenge Europe, I think is the name, but checking after the course, you try to look for it and can't find it.
When you search it on Facebook, it comes up and then it will ask you to put your member ID in, and then they'll accept you onto the page when they've checked you're an associate and that. Yeah.
And you're in the UK and you're doing the IsaBody challenge.
Have you already done that, Dave? Yeah. Has Kyla done it? Have you showed?
Yeah, Kyla's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
He's like, oh, I've done it, but can you? He's such a gift, isn't he?
Just tell from
Look
the
at him.
I love it.
Can you help Kyla do it, please? That would be great. Thanks, Dave.
Honestly,
such a shit.
It's a couple's journey, Dave. Love it. No, we're good. Well, there's 3 main things that we break down the main actions we need to take each day into. There's 3 questions we ask ourselves every morning, Rachel and I, and at the beginning of every week when we're setting our goals.
Do you want to tell them what you're going into next?
Yeah, which is, it's still part of the same.
Oh, right, okay.
So I'm still breaking down the numbers for you guys. So the 3 main things we go into, like from those actions we're talking about and exposures, and apart from all that, like the 3 main things we focus on are how many people, so the first thing, how many people are you sharing the Isagenix story with today? So that's one number that we focus on each day. How many people are you sharing the Isagenix story with today? Second one is, how many new connections are you committing to making today? Or if you'd be asking yourself, how many new connections am I committing to making today? Third one, how many people am I following up today? How many people am I following up today? So it's broken down to how many people you're sharing your Isagenix story with, how many new connections, and how many follow-ups.
So just like to give you an example of what that would look like, you know, the Isagenix story would be like, you're out and you see someone you haven't seen in a while and they're like, oh my God, you're looking really great. And you're like, oh, thanks. Like, I've actually just been doing this new health program. And they're like, oh, what is it? And you're like, well, you know, before I started using the program I am now, nutritional cleansing, I was feeling like so tired and sluggish all the time. I was just like drinking so much coffee. And I was introduced to it by my really good friend Lucinda. And since then, I've just got so much energy. I feel amazing. I'm bouncing out of bed. I've lost 5 kilos. I'm just totally got my room back, or whatever you want to say. But anyway, so that's like sharing your story. New connections, fairly obvious, you know, people that you've never met before. And then follow-ups would be like someone like, for example, for Dave, it would be speaking to his son, Dean, because he's already spoken to Dean. So that's a follow-up. You're following them up again. The other thing I was going to say is a question that we had stuck, and I actually need to do it again, but I had a sticky on our door in our old flat, was who can I help today and where are they? And I would write that down, guys, that who can I help today and where are they? Because you're literally walking out the front door with like just this open mind, this open heart, and people just show up. Sometimes I'm like with Kyla, I'm like, she just like fell out the sky. I'm like, people do. Like,
it's true that you put the intention out there of what you're wanting to show up in your life, what you're wanting to find, the people you're wanting to help, the people you want to attract, the leaders you want in your business. Put it out there. It shows up. It's just a universal law. Yeah, people call it the secret.
Energetically, it will happen. Because if you're walking around like there's no people and I don't know anyone, do you think that anybody's going to be attracted to you? No.
You're completely
walking around,
pushing the energy.
There's no people and I don't know anyone. You're like radiating that. Like wearing a big hat, there's no people and I don't know anyone. But
and we know because we've done it.
We've done it as well. But if you're wearing a big hat that says, who can I help today and where are they? They're like,
oh my God, that person is going to help me today.
There's a white light around you. And you just like start to meet people and you're like, oh my God, now there's so many people I don't know who to talk to first.
It's true.
That's what it becomes like.
And that's when you have those weeks where you're like, you hear people, oh, you enrolled 15 people in the last 2 weeks.
And you're like,
you know,
how
Jackson
did you
Park,
do that?
we just talked about that on one of the posts he did. And he literally had been talking to people for months and months and years, some of them, you know. So he's just, that's why he attracts, because he puts it out there. And it's the same for anyone. It doesn't just go for special people. It's the energy you put out there. It's the intention that you're always putting out there in your life. Cool. So there's that. And then there's also, this is all great as well, like everything we've gone over. But if you don't have people's names written down on a list, whether it's a written list, if you're a person who just can't do computers, do a written list. It's that simple. If you love computers, do a spreadsheet. That's as simple as I'm going to make it. So do you have written lists? I'm not going to go into detail, but I really just want to show you guys how serious we are about lists. So you've seen our spreadsheet list. I literally keep this on my computer every day. So you've seen my master contact list that we've got here. Always have a master contact list. Follow-ups list, you see the tabs at the bottom. Team follow-ups list.
Do you want to explain what those are? Like what?
I think I have on another call, but I will just briefly for the people who weren't on that one. So the master contact list is all the contacts that I've made. This particular one I started a few months ago. So it's all the new contacts I've made and some people on Facebook over the last few months. I just found my last master contact list was getting a bit messy. So I made a new one. And then follow-ups, like I've got a color code system as well. You can create whatever system you want. This is just what I do, and this is how I like to do it. You can do the same system written down. Doesn't even have to be on a spreadsheet. I like spreadsheets. So you got all your follow-ups there and team follow-ups. These are the people that I'm following up for our team. So you'll see Dean, Dave's son, like Rach mentioned before, a few other people. So that's the example there for the master contact list and follow-ups. We also have a separate list on Google Docs, spreadsheets. Seems like we've got spreadsheets everywhere, but there is a system when we do follow it. So we've got a spreadsheet for people that are enrolling.
And so with a Google Doc, and again, if you want a, one-on-one on Google Docs, then we can do that. Or if you want a team training on Google Docs, we can do that. Just a lot of this is interactive, guys. So if you see something, you're like, I want to know more about that, let us know, because then we can do a team training on it.
And we'll know what you want.
If you want us to do a team training on social media, we can do that. but Google Docs is, Isaac and I can both access it. So if I went in now and started clicking around, you'd see that I was clicking on stuff. So when I edit stuff, it shows up on Isaac's and vice versa, which is really good as a couple because, maybe I'll speak to Emily Kendall and know that she's going to get started, And
updates on the go, you don't have to save it. Like if I make this change here and I delete that L or something, Rachel's going to see that L. So we have people enrolling. We have team rank advancements. People you probably don't even know that we're working on getting you to the next level. Kyla, we want to get you to and people to rank advance in September. So there you go. We've got everyone in here, and we've set our own goals for you. And obviously we talk to you about your goals too, and the goals with these different people here. Map to executive. We've written it on a spreadsheet like this. The other way to get to your map to executive is, I think it's here. Yeah. So if you go to uk.isogenicsbusiness.com, click on tools PDFs, tools PDFs on uk.isogenicsbusiness.com, this will come up and you've got your consultant plan, your U plus 2 or your U share. You've got your Crystal manager plan, you share, they share, Crystal director, Crystal executive.
Now, I know Lucinda will love this because she likes everything written. But she's like nodding. It's good to have it stuck up somewhere.
Yeah.
It's actually way clearer than the way we've got it because, it just is. It looks better and it's always there. This, again, is something separate that we can do. We can do a team training. I might even see if there's a point over the next month when we could all get together, like Kyla, Dave in person, Mum, Dad, Lucinda. We'll get a group of us and whether we could do we can all draw out our maps to executive together. We can all go through a couple of things. So because it's good to do it in person, I think, the map to executive.
And one recommendation I'll make is if you're going to do it written out, print out multiple copies of your map to executive because it's always changing. And I saw, Lou, that you said you've already got on your board, which is awesome. We find ours is sometimes changing every week, our map to executive, because we're like, oh, actually, no, that person's not going to get there. They're not interested now. But we've got these 2 other people that just started that are keen and they're pumped. So part of the reason why we put it on the spreadsheet on Google Docs is because we can easily change it. I'm going to make it a bit, more friendlier to the eye rather than just like that. But it gives you the sense of if we were changing someone, we could easily delete them and add someone else and so forth.
The other thing is that we put everyone's auto ships on there. So for Mum, she's obviously got Lucinda as a consultant and Dad. So this would be she'd be the manager one. Oh no, was that the manager one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. That says consultant. Is there a manager one?
Yeah.
There we are. So this would be Mum, and she'd have Phil and Lucinda, and then she'd have Lucinda's 2 people and Dad's 2 people. We always put the auto ship dates on there, so your people's auto ship. So when Lucinda's auto ship would be coming up, when Chloe's auto ship would be coming up, we write all of the auto ships on there so you can keep an eye on them, so that because when you get to, and this is probably again a whole nother training, but when you get to executive, you're keeping 10 people at consultant. So you're holding space for 10 people being consultant. That's 10 people with 2 people. If someone drops off, so if someone's auto ship drops off a few days, Adam and Bianca dropped out of executive for 5 days and it cost them $2,000. So obviously we're just practicing at this stage because you don't need to worry about that until you get to executive. But if right from the start you keep everybody's auto ships there and you're familiar with it, when you get to executive, what you're going to do, you're going to keep everybody's auto ships there and be familiar with it. Because when you get to executive, you want to stay there.
Honestly, not even executive. When you get to manager, you want to stay there. Because I find it's where manager, director, and executive, from manager onwards, people get to manager, you share, they share, and one consultant drops off because they didn't track someone's auto ship, or they haven't been enrolling new people and creating more consultants. So you really want to be focusing on knowing what it takes to hit your next goal, knowing what actions you need to take, like we've been going through. So always, if your goal's manager or consultant, then your goal's manager. Don't go for executive if you're a consultant. Aim for manager first. And if you've got people in the pipeline, you can fill out your next few people.
Yeah.
Crystal directing, you can fill out for Crystal Executive, but you know, always look at the next goal that's on your list.
So like for Lucinda's potentially got 3 people that could all go consultant, Sylvia, Chloe and Joe. Then that she only needs 3 more consultants to hit director. Like, it doesn't take much. And the other thing is that you might have people, I've always wanted like my cousin Anne to do this with me, because Anne is a rock star. She's got a huge network. She used to be a famous pop artist and she knows loads of people, and I'd love her to do this with me. Put their name on there. You're manifesting them being in your business even if they're not yet. Okay,
perfect, thanks. So we are pumping through lots of stuff. You're gonna have like probably brain overload after this, but I just felt like
we're gonna go back and do single trainings on this stuff.
Yeah, and I felt like it was important that you have everything, you know, at least in general. So you've got an idea of what you need to start focusing on, what you don't know, what you need to focus on when you're taking your actions, and what you can come to us now with, like, I need more training on this or that. Yeah.
What page is this on?
This is on isagenixbusiness.com, uk.isagenixbusiness.com, under tools, then tool PDF.
And we'll put this in the group chat, like the link for Isagenix Business, so that you can go on it and find it as well.
Yeah.
As well as the other things that I said.
Yeah, there's a few things I'll put in the homework. Cool. So the other thing I just really have to quickly cover.
I don't think we should do that now.
No, I was going to go over just the last thing, personal development, just really briefly. So personal development, guys, the time management, have to go over on another call. That's a whole nother ball game. And that's equally as important as everything else, because if you don't have a structure for everything that you're doing and managing your time within it, if you feel like you need help with that, let us know, because yeah, I'm pretty good at it, and I've helped Rach with it.
We just need to. Yeah. We'll do a training on time management, how we schedule, what it looks like, all of that stuff.
Yeah, but if you feel like you need it now, because that might not be for 2-3 weeks time, let me know, and I'm happy to take you through like what our calendar looks like, what we use, what you could use, and what's going to work for you. Cool. But personal development, I want to finish off on, because we focused on at the beginning self-sabotage, and you know what it's going to take to shift your environment, start spending time with people who are actually going to help you grow. And, pull you up and bring you up. So two things that have made a huge difference to both Rach and I is books, different types of personal self-development business books, and specific courses as well. And one thing that I learned from one course, which is Uni in Action, coming up at the end of this year, is your business, your Isagenix business, only grows to the extent that you grow yourself. It's like a quote bomb that David Wood dropped on me at my first Uni in Action a few years ago. So your business will only grow to the extent that you grow yourself. So if you want your business to grow, you've got to start growing yourself. And you might have a certain level of growth wherever you're at, but there's always room for more. Trust me. So yeah, books that I would recommend. I just want to make some recommendations. The 4 Agreements is an amazing book. So the 4 Agreements, that's on Audible as well. Or you can buy it on Amazon. And The Big Leap. Just want to give those 2 in particular, the 4 Agreements and The Big Leap. I don't know if you had 1 or 2, but I find those 2 are really good.
Yeah, no, I think those are really good. You guys have already been going through Eric Worre.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear how you're going with that if we've got a couple of minutes at the end of this call. If anybody needs to jump off, then please do, because it's been 15 minutes over.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
And if you want to know more about the courses that we've done and go into more detail, let us know. Uni in Action, obviously, is a massive Isagenix-based personal development weekend course that is incredibly cheap for the value that you get out of it, compared to things like Tony Robbins, which is amazing, but it's just so much more cost-effective. So the Uni in Action, if you want to look at more about it, it's on uk.isagenixevents.com. It's a bit more information about, but basically, just to put it simple, that completely changed the course of my whole Isagenix business, and same with Rach.
Yeah, personal development has changed the entire course of my life. Like I certainly wouldn't be sat on this call right now if I hadn't invested thousands of pounds in self-development. And that started before my Isagenix journey. But for a lot of people, it starts during the Isagenix journey, because Isagenix is really, a self-development program with a compensation plan attached. We're encouraged to grow ourselves all the time, for the sole reason that it means that we can go help more people. And yeah, both Isaac and I have done extensive self-development with, landmark, like external places outside of Isogenics. And like I say, I've spent a lot of money doing that. I've done online stuff. I've done training with a woman called Regan Hillier in Bali, and I spent thousands on that. And some of it's been really, you know, really, really great. And other things I would steer you away from. But, you know, by asking us, we can give you our experiences of what's been the most cost effective and what's upskilled us, you know, in the best way possible.
Like cost versus amount of value you get out of it. We can definitely tell you.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Uni in Action and the Landmark Forum were the two courses I found personally in my life that made the biggest difference in business and in personal relationships in every area. Those two courses in particular, and those two books. And there's so many books I could recommend.
So many books, and so much free stuff as well online. You can literally go on YouTube and search Tony Robbins and watch so much Tony Robbins stuff. We've got friends that have just done Tony Robbins in Sydney, and obviously, you know, being at one of his events, there's a reason that people pay to go to the event, because you can't experience sat on your bed in your house the same experience that you do, the same breakthroughs that you do at a course with Tony Robbins in front of you, you know, guiding you in that process. He, you know, he coaches you one-on-one often. But yeah, that there's lots of different things that you can do and lots of stuff that you can do till you're in a place where financially you can pay and go see Tony Robbins. So, yeah.
But I find, like I said, books first, because that's where you can start and you can read a book at any time and it's cheap and you can get a lot of value out of them. Especially The Big Leap has been amazing, and we've only read maybe nearly half of it. We need to read the rest.
It's just an audio book, but it's amazing.
Yeah.
The Big Leap. Yeah. How are you guys going with, is that everything that you wanted to cover?
That's everything I want to cover. I'm going to stop sharing and then recording as well.
Is it